Have you ever felt like everything you held dear was slipping away, leaving you with nothing but questions and despair? If so, you're not alone. In the crucible of life, we all face moments when it seems God has taken everything away. But what if these moments are not punishments, but opportunities? What if they hold the key to a deeper, more meaningful relationship with God? In the realm of devotional 𝓞𝓽𝓱𝓮𝓻, these moments are not to be feared, but embraced. They are the turning points that transform our faith from mere belief into a lived experience. By exploring the stories of biblical figures like Job, David, and even Jesus, we can uncover the divine purpose behind these challenges. When God takes everything away, He's not being cruel, but compassionate. He's inviting us to let go of the idols we've unknowingly clung to, and to cling instead to Him. He's offering us the chance to see beyond our circumstances, to trust in His plan, and to find true peace and joy. But how do we navigate these storms? How do we keep our faith intact and the world seems to be crumbling around us? In this exploration, we'll delve into the scriptures that offer guidance and comfort in these times. We'll learn how to find God's presence even in the darkest moments, and how to allow these trials to refine our faith and draw us closer to Him. So, if you're grappling with the feeling that God has taken everything away, don't turn away from the challenge. Instead, turn towards it, with an open heart and a willingness to learn. Because in the end, you'll find that God isn't taking away, but giving back, a deeper faith, a stronger hope, and a love that transcends all understanding. In the realm of evangelical devotion, the topic of when God takes everything away is profoundly significant. It touches on the delicate balance between faith, suffering, and divine purpose. In an era marked by increasing materialism and instant gratification, this topic challenges believers to confront the deeper aspects of their spiritual journey. Evangelical Christianity emphasizes a personal relationship with God, often marked by periods of both triumph and trial. The concept of God stripping away worldly possessions or comforts is not unfamiliar to devout Christians. Stories abound in the Bible, such as Job's losses, where he retained his faith despite losing his wealth, health, and family. Modern-day evangelicals also face similar tests, from financial struggles to health crises, testing their reliance on God. The 21st century has brought new challenges, such as global pandemics and economic instability, which can leave believers questioning God's plan. These circumstances force evangelicals to grapple with the question, if God is loving and omnipotent, why does He allow such hardships? This paradox lies at the heart of understanding God's sovereignty and His ultimate purpose for our lives. Furthermore, the topic underscores the importance of spiritual growth and resilience. When material things are taken away, believers are encouraged to lean on their faith and trust in God's provision. This process can lead to a deeper understanding of God's sufficiency and the impermanence of earthly possessions. It also highlights the necessity of community support within the church, where believers can find solace and encouragement during trying times. Ultimately, when God takes everything away, is a reminder that our faith is not contingent on our circumstances but on our unwavering trust in God. It challenges evangelicals to see every loss as an opportunity for spiritual growth and to cling to the promise that God works all things together for the good of those who love Him, Romans 8 verse 28. This truth anchors believers in the tumultuous seas of life, guiding them to embrace the journey, no matter how difficult, with hope and faith. Your insights on when God takes everything away from you are invaluable. Share your thoughts in the comments and let's build a supportive community together. Subscribe to stay engaged and never miss an opportunity to learn and grow. Your participation is vital. It shapes our collective understanding. Let's learn and grow together. When God takes everything away from you, it can be a challenging and confusing time. However, it's crucial to understand that God has a purpose behind every trial. The first step is to align your goals with this understanding. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, shift your perspective to seek what God is trying to teach you. Consider the story of Job. He lost his wealth, health, and even his children, yet he never lost faith. Job's story teaches us that even when everything is taken away, we can still trust in God's goodness. Actionable step: reflect on Job's journey and write down the lessons you can learn from his perseverance and faith. Another practical step is to find comfort in God's presence. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." When God takes everything away, He does not abandon you. Instead, He wants you to draw closer to Him. Actionable strategy: make a habit of spending quiet time with God each day. Use this time to pray, read His Word, and listen for His voice. Moreover, remember that God often takes away things to make room for better ones. He might be clearing your path for a new beginning. Actionable example: if you've lost a job, see it as an opportunity to explore new career paths or even start a business you've always dreamed of. Lastly, use this time to serve others. Helping those in need can shift your focus from your loss to the blessings you still have. Actionable suggestion: volunteer at a local charity or church. This will not only help others but also remind you of the importance of community and God's love. In conclusion, when God takes everything away, trust in His plan, seek His presence, look for new opportunities, and serve others. These steps can help you navigate through challenging times and grow stronger in your faith. In the quiet town of Meadow Grove, the Johnson family was known for their unshakable faith. They had always trusted in God, even when times were tough. However, when a sudden and devastating fire consumed their home, taking with it all their belongings, their faith was put to the ultimate test. The family was left with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the memories of what they had lost. The urgency of understanding God's purpose in this calamity became starkly clear as they faced the reality of their situation. The conflict that emerged was not just about the material possessions they had lost, but the deeper question of why God would allow such a tragedy to befall them. The importance of understanding God's intentions became crucial, as they needed to find a way to navigate through their grief and rebuild their lives. They found themselves in a dark place, unsure of how to move forward without the comforts and familiarity of their former life. To make matters worse, the community began to whisper about the Johnson family's misfortune. Some questioned their faith, suggesting that perhaps God had abandoned them. This added a layer of social pressure and emotional turmoil, as the family struggled to maintain their devotion despite the doubts and judgments of others. The necessity of comprehending God's will in their lives became even more pressing, as they needed to find solace and strength to endure the scrutiny and criticisms. In the midst of this crisis, a wise pastor from a nearby church offered to counsel the Johnson family. He shared a powerful insight that turned the tide of their despair. He explained that sometimes, God takes everything away to make room for something new. This revelation was a turning point for the family. They began to see their loss not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for renewal and spiritual growth. This new perspective gave them the hope and courage they needed to start anew, with a deeper and more profound understanding of God's love and purpose in their lives. When facing trials and tribulations, it's common to question our faith and understanding of God's plan. In the context of a devotional evangelico, when God takes everything away, it's crucial to grasp key biblical concepts. Firstly, understand that God's ways are not our ways, as stated in Isaiah 55 verse 8. This means God's perspective and plan may differ from ours. When He removes something from our lives, it's not necessarily a punishment but a means to a greater end. Secondly, consider the concept of pruning. In John 15 verse 2, Jesus says, "Every branch that bears fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit." God may remove certain aspects of our life to encourage growth in other areas. This pruning can be painful, but it leads to increased spiritual fruitfulness. Thirdly, remember that God uses struggles to deepen our faith. In Romans 5 verses 3-4, it's written, God allows tribulations to strengthen our faith and hope. Fourthly, consider the story of Job. God allowed Job to lose everything, his wealth, family, and health, yet Job remained faithful. In the end, God restored everything Job had lost, blessing him even more. This story illustrates that God's timing and plan are perfect. Fifthly, remember that God may remove things to redirect our focus. In Matthew 6 verse 21, Jesus says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." God may take away worldly possessions to refocus our hearts on eternal treasures. Lastly, it's essential to trust in God's goodness. In Lamentations 3 verse 25, it's written, "The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him." Even in the darkest times, we must trust that God's intentions are good. In conclusion, when God takes everything away, it's an opportunity for growth, refocus, and deepening faith. Trust in His plan, even when it's difficult to understand. When facing the crux of God taking everything away, it's crucial to apply our faith practically. One strategy is to focus on what remains, rather than what's lost. Job, a biblical figure, lost his wealth, family, and health, yet he maintained his faith. He could have wallowed in self-pity, but instead, he chose to trust God. This is a practical application we can emulate. Consider the scenario of a business owner who loses everything due to economic downturn. Instead of despairing, he could focus on the skills and knowledge he's gained, and perhaps, the relationships he's built. He can start anew, perhaps in a different field, but with the same resilience and faith. His story can inspire others, demonstrating that even in loss, there's potential for growth and new beginnings. Another challenge is doubt. In the face of adversity, it's natural to question God's plan. To overcome this, we can engage in spiritual disciplines like prayer and Bible study. These practices can deepen our understanding of God's character and strengthen our faith. For instance, reading about Joseph's journey in the Bible can provide comfort and perspective. Joseph was sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned, yet he remained faithful and ultimately became a leader. Moreover, community support is vital. In the evangelical context, small groups or Bible studies can offer a safe space to share struggles and receive encouragement. Sharing testimonies of overcoming adversity can be a powerful tool for others facing similar trials. It's like a spiritual ecosystem, where everyone thrives on mutual support and faith sharing. Additionally, we must be cautious not to fall into the trap of blaming God for our circumstances. It's important to remember that God allows trials to strengthen our faith and character. A practical way to combat this is to meditate on scriptures that affirm God's love and sovereignty. Romans 8 verse 28, for example, reminds us that, in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Lastly, it's beneficial to maintain a journal of God's faithfulness. Documenting answered prayers and moments of divine intervention can serve as a reminder during trying times. It's like a spiritual record, proving that God is always there, even when it feels like everything is taken away. In the face of adversity, it's crucial to understand that God's stripping away of our possessions or comforts is not a punishment, but rather a purification process. As Dallas Willard once said, God's grace is not merely negative, a deliverance from evil, but positively formative, a calling out of what is best, a perfecting of one's nature and destiny. This perspective shifts our focus from despair to hope, knowing that God is molding us into better versions of ourselves. Consider the story of Job. God allowed Satan to strip Job of his wealth, family, and health, yet Job maintained his faith. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes and gave him even more than before. This narrative illustrates that sometimes, God takes everything away to reveal what truly matters. As theologian Tim Keller notes, when you lose something precious, you realize how much you really wanted it. And when you want God more than anything else, you will be able to say with Job, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." In modern times, we see this principle at play in the life of Katie Davis Majors. She left her comfortable life in Tennessee to serve in Uganda, where she eventually adopted 13 girls. In her book, Kisses from Katie, she shares how God stripped away her material possessions and comforts, but in doing so, filled her life with an abundance of love and purpose. Her story serves as a testament to the truth that when God takes everything away, He often replaces it with something more meaningful. As we navigate this journey, it's essential to cling to God's promises. Psalm 34 verse 18 assures us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." During these times, we must lean into God, allowing Him to comfort and strengthen us. As C.S. Lewis wrote, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains." It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. The climax of this spiritual journey is not simply enduring loss but emerging with a deeper understanding of God's love and purpose for our lives. As we trust in Him through trials, we grow in faith, resilience, and wisdom. In the words of Corrie ten Boom, when a train goes through a tunnel and it gets dark, you don't throw away the ticket and jump off. You sit still and trust the engineer. So, let us trust the divine engineer, knowing that even in the darkest tunnels, He is working for our ultimate good. According to the Pew Research Center, about 70% of Americans identify as Christian, highlighting the significance of spirituality in daily life. Pew Research Center, 2021. When God takes everything away, it often leaves individuals feeling stripped and vulnerable. This experience is not uncommon. A study by the American Psychological Association, APA, found that approximately 75% of Americans experience at least one major stressful life event, such as the loss of a loved one or financial difficulties, within a given year. APA, 2020. Dr. Harold Koenig, a prominent researcher in the field of faith and mental health, notes that for many believers, these experiences can lead to a crisis of faith. However, he also emphasizes that such crises can ultimately strengthen one's relationship with God. In his book, The Healing Power of Faith, Koenig discusses how some individuals find solace and purpose in their suffering, ultimately deepening their devotion. Koenig, 2001. Consider the case of Job in the Old Testament. He lost his family, wealth, and health, yet maintained his faith. Job's story resonates with many, including contemporary figures like 𝓞𝓽𝓱𝓮𝓻, an evangelist who was born without limbs. Vujicic's faith has not only sustained him but also inspired millions worldwide. His life illustrates how understanding the divine purpose behind trials can transform adversity into triumph. Vujicic, 2012. Moreover, a study conducted by the Barna Group revealed that 64% of practicing Christians believe that their faith has grown stronger through difficult times. This underscores the real-world implications of understanding God's intent in trials. When individuals embrace this perspective, they often experience increased resilience and spiritual growth. Barna Group, 2018. Pastor Rick Warren, author of The Purpose-Driven Life, emphasizes that finding purpose in suffering is key. He asserts that God allows difficulties to shape us into better people, drawing us closer to Him. Warren's insights have helped countless individuals reframe their hardships, transforming them into opportunities for spiritual development. Warren, 2002. In conclusion, understanding God's role in times of loss and hardship is crucial. It not only enhances one's resilience but also fosters a deeper devotion. By drawing from real-life examples and expert opinions, we can appreciate how these challenging experiences are integral to spiritual growth and personal transformation. As we near the resolution of our devotional journey, let's address some lingering questions about God taking everything away. Dr. Gary Chapman, author of The 5 Love Languages, offers a profound insight: God is more interested in what we become than in what we have. This perspective helps us understand that God's actions, though challenging, are ultimately for our growth. A study by the Pew Research Center found that 68% of Americans believe in miracles. While we hope for miracles, it's crucial to remember that God's ways are not always immediate or easy. He works in mysterious ways, and sometimes, He allows difficulties to shape us into better individuals. Pastor Rick Warren, in his book, The Purpose-Driven Life, emphasizes that God allows trials to deepen our faith and draw us closer to Him. He shares that God often uses difficult experiences to develop our character and draw us closer to Himself. This reminds us that even in loss, there's an opportunity for spiritual growth. It's essential to confront doubts honestly. A survey by the Barna Group revealed that 38% of Christians struggle with doubt. However, doubt isn't the absence of faith but a part of its journey. As C.S. Lewis wrote, doubt is not the opposite of faith, it is one of the essential elements of faith. Embrace doubt as a stepping stone towards a stronger faith. Lastly, consider the story of Job. Despite losing everything, Job maintained his faith, saying, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Job 13 verse 15. Job's story isn't just about endurance but about the assurance that God has a purpose in our trials. As we wrap up, remember that God's actions, no matter how painful, are always rooted in love and purpose. Stay focused on the growth and understanding these experiences bring. Your faith will be strengthened, and you'll emerge with a deeper appreciation for God's plan. When God feels the need to strip away our possessions and comforts, it's crucial to understand that He does so to guide us towards a deeper spiritual connection. The main point is that His actions, though initially challenging, are meant to foster humility, trust, and reliance on Him. This process is often a catalyst for spiritual growth and a stronger faith. To apply these insights, start by reflecting on the areas of your life where you might be placing too much trust in material goods or personal abilities. Acknowledge that God's intervention, though tough, is for your ultimate benefit. Next, engage in prayer and meditation to build a closer relationship with Him. This will help you navigate through the challenges and find solace in His love. The benefits of embracing this perspective are manifold. You'll develop a resilient faith that can withstand life's storms. This journey also teaches you to find joy and contentment in God alone, rather than fleeting worldly pleasures. Moreover, it opens your heart to serve others more generously, understanding that true wealth lies in spiritual riches. In practical terms, consider joining a devotional evangelical group or participating in community service. These activities provide a supportive environment to discuss your experiences and learn from others. They also offer opportunities to put your faith into action, living out the lessons you've learned. Remember, embracing God's path, even when it leads through difficult terrains, is the key to a fulfilling spiritual life. So, take the next step, reach out to your faith community, share your journey, and grow together in devotion. When God takes everything away, it's not to punish us, but to draw us closer to Him. In these moments of stark emptiness, we often realize that our dependence was on possessions, people, or positions, not on the Lord. It's a painful yet profound lesson in trust. Like the prodigal son, we may wander in the wilderness, but God is always waiting, arms open, ready to welcome us back. This journey, though arduous, is not without purpose. It's a chance to strip away the distractions and focus on what truly matters. In the silence, we hear His voice more clearly. In the darkness, we see His light more brightly. It's an opportunity to rebuild our foundation on the unshakable rock of Christ, not the sinking sand of the world. Remember, even in the valley of the shadow of death, God is with us. He doesn't promise a life free from storms, but He does promise that He will be with us in the storm. This is our comfort, our strength, our hope. We are not alone, for He is with us always, even to the end of the age. So, lean into the process. Trust in His plan. And remember, when God takes everything away, He does so to give us something far greater, Himself. For in His presence, there is fullness of joy, and at His right hand are pleasures forevermore. Keep seeking Him, keep trusting Him, and keep growing in His love.